All right, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to everyone. We've got a good crowd going on here. For those who don't know, for those who may be new, we have some new faces here. For those who may be new, this is an extension of the Facebook group, which is Connect, Contribute, Collaborate. And a lot of you in that group, it's been amazing to see some of the transformations in there and the connections that people are making. And just seeing business grow as we evolve, as we work together, as we all leverage our networks, all the cool stuff. It's been awesome. So this type of call is, how we're placing value on the business side of things, getting a lot of experts like Lisa to come in and mastermind around a particular topic of their expertise so that everyone can start to learn and start to increase their business acumen so that we can, so we can all go through some tests and tweaks within our business to see some different results. But the best part about this, it's not like a webinar, it's not like a podcast. I highly encourage everyone to reach out to Lisa and add her to your business community, add her to your network, right? There's immense knowledge that's going to be thrown at you, but it's going to be immensely beneficial to keep this relationship going. So there's a couple ways in which we can do that. Lisa's a part of the Facebook group, so you can reach out to her there. After the end of every one of these calls, at the very end, I put a post up to say, what was your biggest insights? And when people comment on that, Lisa can see who was on the call and she can reach out to you, you can reach out to her, and you can all reach out with each other. And that way we can all connect, we can contribute in different ways, we can collaborate, organize joint ventures, even just to share some wisdom with one another. And that creates a really cool, engaging community. So that's one aspect. The next aspect is the transformational group coaching, which I started last week. If you're looking to transcend a lot of the limiting beliefs, a lot of the uncomfortable emotions that come up on the business world, that's in there is where we transcend a lot of those emotions. So we help you with the internal world as well. And so that call will be the same time as this call in 2 days from now. So whatever it was for you, 2 days from now, we'll be doing some transformational group coaching. And there was about 25 people or something on the last call. And man, everyone was blown away by the transformations they made and the exercise they were doing. And I've got so many messages this week of people just saying, hey, I meditated on this, I transformed this, I was able to feel and transcend this uncomfortable emotion of fear, doubt, and frustration. It was crazy to see what can happen when you actually know what it is that's happening internally. So that's sort of the three-prong attack in terms of this group: the business side of things, the emotional and mental side of things, and then underlying is a huge, awesome collaborating community in which you can all grow. And I highly want to send a big thanks to everyone who's also inviting their friends into the group. That's been a really good sign, and it's awesome to see that there's a bunch of value going around so people can share it and everything like that. So Lisa, I'd love for the group to get to know a bit more about you, a bit more about what's going on in your life, and what you can provide in terms of value for this community. So would you give us a bit of an intro on who you are and what you do?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Lisa Meisels. Thank you so much, Tyson, for having me here. I just got done last week doing a client attraction mini course talking about what we're talking about today. So I hope that it's fresh in my mind. I hope it's succinct in what I'm saying, and I know that you guys are going to get some great value because I've had great feedback. So my journey has been a long one. I spent 30 years in the corporate environment. I was a dietitian, did clinical for 10 years, and then I did business consulting, operations, and stuff in the academia, like taught at the college level, and did a lot of mentoring, counseling, therapy through my whole career. And healthcare was changing, and I really didn't want to be part of it anymore. And I was looking around, and it was about 2010, and I found the world of online. And I had no idea people were actually like doing really cool things on there, but I found these really innovative guys that were sharing their genius. They were just up on stage doing their thing, wearing, flip-flops and t-shirts and just brilliant, innovative. And I'm like, I want to do that. So I followed a bunch of the internet marketers at the time, and I started learning about sales and marketing. And that was while I was still working full time, and I was commuting all over the place and listening to podcasts and, downloading whatever I could, listening while I commuted. And the thing I had a really difficult time with was clarity on my messaging, and who were my people, and what do I offer them, and all the things that I teach now. And I really feel like this is a big gap. This is a big area that people kind of skim over, and they'll give you the avatar worksheets, or they'll tell you how to piece things together, and it never clicked for me. And so that's why I do what I do. And that's been my journey, is just I've taken course after course, hired mentor after mentor. And this is the one thing people really don't go deep enough with. And that's what I like to do with my clients, because if you don't have this foundation set, if you don't know who your people are, nothing's going to work, right? Especially online, because online you're putting your words out there. And yes, you can do video, and yes, you can, do all these things, but it's easy in person. People feel your energy, and they're like, hey, I just like what you have. Tell me more about it. And you can talk. It's different online. It really causes you to be articulate in the way that you talk about what you do and who you serve and what the results are that you get people. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I started with a nutrition practice at first, realized I did not want to be, I hadn't done clinical work in like forever. And so that didn't work out because I kept referring people off. And in 2015, I started hanging out with spiritual entrepreneur women, and I had a radio show, and I loved it, and I loved interviewing. And then I had a couple video shows that I did. I did the Empowered Living video show, and that got picked up by a global e-magazine. So I got my clients some visibility. Everybody wanted visibility. And so that's what I focused on at the beginning. And then I did an expert interview series in 2017 and 2018. And that's kind of when Facebook started changing some things around, and the algorithm, wasn't getting a lot of traction. So with my logical, scientific part of my brain, I test a lot of different strategies. I test a lot of different things, but it always really comes back to the heart of your connection and the authenticity that you bring. And you can have 101 strategies in place, but if you really don't know who your people are, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know what they want, it doesn't connect.
That's what it always comes down to, right?
Yeah.
And it always comes down to the connection you have with someone. It comes down to what it is they want, and this is exactly what a lot of people need, including myself. I'm always evolving who I coach, how I help them, what results I get them, and it's really, really key to get this messaging down. So I'll be listening with intent, because this will be more of a conversational type of discussion. I want to mention a lot of the people who are typing in messages. We have a lot of messages here of people saying hey and things like that. A lot of the messages from you guys are just towards the panelists. So you'll see where you have the two in the messaging. If you can click all panelists and attendees, that way everyone can see your messages. So if you can, so let me see. So Barbara, Regina, Jess, even you, Lisa.
Yeah, I just changed.
So a lot of people have their, so if you can switch that to all panelists and attendees and then say hi to everyone, just so we know that it's working, then that would be amazing. Awesome. Hello. Such a friendly community we have.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a great point about how you're always growing, and we all grow and expand and learn more. And it's like, do we switch? Do we stay with what we're doing? Do we change audiences? So there's a lot of confusion around that.
Mm,
Yeah.
totally. So what advice would you give someone? Let's say they're running an online business. They help people, whether it be with digital marketing, to help them with business results, to help them with life results. What is this foundation you talk about? Is there anything in particular that you would give as a piece of advice so that someone knows that their messaging is connecting with their ideal client in that way?
I mean, the simplest thing, honestly, is to do a lot of market research. I mean, we should always be doing market research, always, always, always. And that's basically asking questions to people. So and your group is a perfect place to do it. And my group, I do that too. They know I give free value, and in turn, they answer questions for me because they're a slice of your market, right? And there's questions that you want to know about. So for instance, in my group, before I ran this mini course, I asked them what they were struggling with, and like, to recognize the value I provide, ramping up and solidifying my message, getting on a live consistently, how to convert a customer, how to get your message across without selling. These are all things that people are struggling with, and it gives me a really good idea of how to present, and how to give them what they want. And I think that's a really great thing to do, especially since we have groups that we can have our people in, and just ask them questions and they'll answer.
Great.
Do polls.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's in the phase that I'm at. So maybe so everyone can engage with the group. Maybe you can type in the chat box, or you guys, who is it that you help?
Yeah.
And what's your niche? What's your niche, and how do you help? And so that way, not only can Lisa engage with you guys in terms of helping you more specifically, but everyone in the group will be able to see what it is you do, who it is you help, and therefore they may be able to reach out to you and send you some ideal clients or some key sources of collaboration, which is what this group is all about. I'm shifting as well in terms of who I target, how I help. For a long time, I just helped online business owners, and so that's too broad and not enough scope. I would my first question would be for you, Lisa, is what advice would you have for someone who's looking to go deeper or go more niche so that they can target something specific rather than be the one-stop shop for everyone?
Well, I always like to feel the energy of who you're with, and there's certain people who lift you up and make you feel like you want to fly, and there's certain people who are like just a drain on your energy. We don't want to work with those people. Those are not our ideal clients. The people who are a really good match for you feed you as well as you feeding them. It's like it's a win-win, and you're learning from them as you're sharing your expertise. And so I really don't think that being a guru up here and teaching people down here is a good match, because there's so much space in between. You really need to kind of close that gap up so that you're right. And that's the thing that people have a really hard time with, because that's what makes them feel like an imposter is, well, who am I to help these people that seem like they're just like me? But everybody has a unique difference. Everybody has a way of delivering something differently. Everybody has a way of making people feel differently. And so if two people are doing the same thing with the same audience, you're going to get a different result with the two different people. So to answer your question, I feel the energy. I feel the energy of who do you love to be around? And if you love to be, like, I love to be around awakening spiritual entrepreneurs. Those are my people. I love it.
Yeah.
And if I'm with if I'm with people who are, you know, direct marketing, it's just not my jam. It's not like, I don't feel like I can help them as much as I could help the person that I'm totally in, you know, in love with. Like, I love those people.
So that's the question number one, is who are you in love with? Who gives you
Yeah.
that energy? Who not only can you teach and can you help, but how can they help you as well? How can you learn from them? And
Yeah.
that's inspiring. So that's the first real question is, and all you guys can get out a pen and paper and think, who is it that helps you fly? What is it that when your energy is resonating, that you take both parties to the next level?
Yeah.
So we've got a few. So Regina's saying, I help 6-figure business owners generate an additional 6 figures or more in net profit over the next 12 months. Awesome. Stephen, we help migrants to Australia and Australian expats with accounting needs. Awesome. To make their experience as child play. Okay. Irene, motivated entrepreneurs who feel stuck and want to thrive in their business. Okay, awesome. So a lot of these are business related. Awesome. So we have greetings. This is Rachel. I'm a soulful entrepreneur. I help soulful entrepreneurs reach more people. I asked maybe you guys can collaborate in some way. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. Make an
Yeah,
impact through impact and change the world, and coaching and training. Kerry, my avatar is built around my faith parents. Awesome.
Exactly. Perfect.
I teach their kids. Cool. Yes.
Yeah, to make a difference in the world. I think that's like, there's so many of us doing that work that I really, really believe, Tyson, that we are the leaders creating a whole new economy through this industry. And it's a value exchange, and we get to do this. I feel really strongly about that. So
Yeah.
I love seeing all these people.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can all see the messages here from Bram, is awesome in the community. Jess as well is awesome in the community. Clean living, special need and gut health from Jess, awesome.
Yeah.
So that's along the nutrition side of things as well. That's very cool. And Bram help individuals and business owners in Australia reduce operating costs and increase procedure capabilities. Cool. So that's a good indication of who's in the group. A lot of them are business focused. A lot of them are helping business owners. This is what we find in the group as well, is pretty common. So what would you say? So we have a rough idea, an understanding of who lifts us up, who gives us that energy, who resonates with us, and we can start to target that audience where we're not teaching them down here from up here, and not experiencing that gap, but where we truly do align with people who can give value to us, and we give value to them, and they resonate with us and everything like that. Yeah. So what would be the next step? Is there any advice once you have those people?
Yeah, let me just mention this too, because I want to, this is really important. There's skills that we have, things that we could do that we're really good at. And then there's things that we love to do and that stretches us to become better at. And I really think that's where we need to hang out in order to continue to grow and expand, and to be innovative, and to feed the world better. Awesome. Feed with our knowledge and energy and our value and all that.
So things that stretch us. Cool.
Yeah, because if you hang out in the place where you're like, I'm really good at nutrition, let's say, I'm really good at going in and doing regulatory compliance. Do I want to do that? No. No, I don't want to do that. But I could get hired like that doing it. But it's not where I want to be. It doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't fill my soul up. And so I think if you want to be in your business for the long run, it's really important to feel fulfilled in so many different ways, and not just, oh, I'm good at this, I could do that.
I think this is where I resonate as well. Everyone who knows me in the group and who's followed my content knows that what I love about resolving the internal conflicts within people and to stop them and to really shift so they're not trying to create success and achieve success so they can fill a void within themselves, but resolve their internal conflicts to a point where they feel so fulfilled, so loved, so abundant internally that they want to use the avenue of business to just spread what they already feel inside. And so this is how it's all connected. If you have that level of abundance, if you have that level of love, and you're working with people who fill your soul, as Lisa says, then everything starts to click, right? Is that what you described? Is that what you explained before when you said everything starts to click? That's what you help people do.
Yeah. You've got to feel totally aligned with what you're here to do. Like I really believe we're all here to find joy. That's what I believe ultimately our purpose is, but we do it through different avenues, right? So if we're a business owner and we are finding joy through what we're doing and aligning to that message that is so important to us, that comes from our background, that comes from our experience, that comes from our life lessons. Like there's some thread that is woven continuously through your life that you will always rise up to, that you will always either defend or that you want to shout out to to your people, or there's something that you're meant to share here on earth. And so your message, your alignment, your message is tied to that. But first you've got to know who your people are, right? And because then in order to create a message that's aligned and resonates with your people, you use words that resonate with them, but that also make you feel aligned. Does that make sense?
That's where the research comes into it, is seeing,
yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming the questions you ask these people when you're doing your market research are around their struggles, their fears, their doubts, their joys. What would you give like as some quick questions that someone can ask?
So basically you want to ask, what their challenges are right now. Like, what are they struggling with right now? And then ultimately, where do they want to go? Like, what is the ultimate solution? But here's the thing. We have an audience and they're on a client journey. So I always talk about, I don't know if you can see my hands. I talk with my hands. So a client journey is, they're here, they're stuck, they're victim, they're like in that victim mindset. They haven't figured it out. And a lot of people that I talk to that are just starting, it doesn't sound like your group is just starting, but maybe somebody on the replay, they want to help the people that are at rock bottom. And those people are not ready to be helped. They haven't figured it out yet. Your audience, they may be part of your audience and they may be listening to you. But in order for those people to be paying customers, they need to have gone down the road and tried to figure it out and tried different things and failed, and to the point where they realize they can't do it themselves. That's when they're ready to hire you. And so when you're in your marketing, you want to speak to those people. If you speak to the people down here, it's not going to connect with the people who believe in themselves enough to pay you.
Okay,
and
so you speak to the people
enough. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So you speak to the people that are down the road, right? In your messaging, in the words you use.
You speak to the people. Yeah, the people that are ready to take action. You speak to the people who are ready to find a solution and get rid of their frustration. Those are the people you speak to. And the people down here at this end, they're going to listen, but they're just not ready. They're going to try other things. That's why, people will be on your list for 5 years and not buy anything from you, but all of a sudden they become ready because you've educated them enough through your value.
Totally. Awesome. Does this help, guys? Understanding who your target market is, understanding who resonates with you. I've got a question as well. In terms of when you're reaching out to someone, so you've got an idea of who lifts you up, who energizes you, right? Who helps you fly, that's on a line. And then you reach out to those people and you start to interview them, start to ask the questions around where they're at right now and where they want to go, all those different cool questions of diving in deep into understanding them. At what level do you look internally and say, okay, in my messaging, do I put in my messaging what resonates with me, or or what if what they're saying is not normally what my message would be, not what normally doesn't vibrate with my energy? Is there a combination of ways in which you can release a message and share something that's resonating with you and fulfills you, but in a way also taps into the market and what the phrases they use and everything that goes on in their head?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's finding out how your people think. And when we speak, when people answer questions, especially verbally, it's different than when they read. And so we want to capture their verbal language, the language they use when they speak, to integrate that into your message. And sometimes the words might be different, but if you're talking with somebody and messaging them and they're like, hey, love what you do, tell me more about tell me more about it. And then you ask them questions, right? You want to get where they're at first. Like, tell me what's going on with you. What are you looking for? And they'll tell you back in their words. And if you're typing, it's the same thing. They'll use their words. If it's not like, if say you offer, let me give you an example. Gut health. Okay, let's just take gut health. Okay, so let's say somebody says, I have a problem with my achy joints or whatever. You know that's gut health. That's gut health, but you're not going to say, hey, I can help you with your gut health, because that's not where they're at. They're at achy joints. So listening to what they say and listening to where they are, because we all know that the problem that they have is not what they think they have. The problem that they have has symptoms that show up in their daily life. Symptoms like, like, so let's just stick with the gut health. I'm tired all the time. I can't think straight. I go to out to my car and I forget half the stuff I'm supposed to take with me to work or whatever. Those are the symptoms that make them so frustrated about their life. That's what they're thinking about. They're not thinking about gut health. So if you're posting about gut health, it's not going to connect with them. They're not there.
Yeah.
And does that make sense?
It's true for, gut health. It's true for business owners. It's true for accounting. It's true for people who coach, right?
Yep.
It's understanding your market and speaking to where they're at right now.
Yep.
And helping them understand their symptoms, rather than the problem, because the problem is never the one they actually have. It's one you help solve, but it's not where they're at right now in terms of how they would describe it or what they would think is the solution. Is that right?
Exactly. So some of the questions that you could ask people are like, how does this affect your day? What, because you want to go further than what's your problem right now. That's a good starting question, but you want to go further. So you want to know your people so well that you know how their day is, their frustrations, what happens as a result of the root problem. You want to know them so well that you can start educating them that this problem that you're having, this symptom that you're having, is actually linked back to this problem. Then once they make the connection, you can go, and this is the problem I help you with. Awesome. And when you're talking to people about, what you do, you always want to use their words.
Totally. Awesome. So you use their symptoms, how they describe their problem, where they're at the moment, in their language, and then educate them on the solution. And then when they make the connection between the two, that's when you offer them the solution. Is that right?
Yeah. Right. So the educational pieces, that the stuff that you're putting out there, is all to educate them on the things that they don't know they need, right? Because they know what they want. They want their joints to feel better. They want to be able to get down on their knees with their grandkids. They want to, whatever they want. These are the problems. These are the symptoms. The problem is their gut health. But if you talk about gut health, it's just like right over their head. So educating, always back to this is what I do.
Great. And so in your messaging, in your videos, in your copy, whatever it may be, you can educate them and say, oh, if you can't get down on your knees to play with your grandchildren, one thing that solves, aching pains is linked to your gut health. Or if you eat this and this and this, this is going to flare up. Or if you eat this and this in combination, it'll free up your joints. It'll help lubricate the joints to a place where you can go down and play with your grandchildren.
Yeah, and making it so that it's not talking at them, because that could kind of cause a dissonance with people are like, well, what are you telling me what to do? How do that kind of. So it's asking the questions. Do you did you know that getting down on your hands and knees is really not about like just your arthritis? Do you know that it goes deeper than that? And just getting them curious. I didn't know. What is it? And then you go on to explain it to them.
Great.
But
awesome.
Kind of get them with that question of like where they don't even know, like they have no clue that that's what it is.
Awesome. And even with business owners, even if you're helping businesses with profit, helping them with time, if you're coaching people on energy, if you're coaching people on whatever it may be, talking to them at the symptoms level and understanding who it is, first of all, who it is that resonates with you. Second of all, what is their pain points? What are their frustrations? And diving deeper in terms of how does that affect their day? What are the major emotions that come up for them, right? Why do they feel stuck? What have they tried in the past that hasn't worked before? What's been their journey up until now? And once you have that, you can start to use their language, use their phrases, use their, where they're at the moment in terms of key questions you can ask them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's like, for example, people, my audience, they want clients. And what they don't understand is they don't know who they're talking to. They're not clear. I look at their website, I look at their profiles, and I can tell they're not clear on who their people are, and they're not clear on the message that's going to draw those people into them. They don't have, the clarity. And so without that clarity, they're not going to get clients online. So it's putting those, I call them puzzle pieces, putting those puzzle pieces together and then creating an offer that is like, I always like to say that you're offering it on a silver platter. It's exactly what they want. And you can tailor it to people, in your sales calls. If you're offering, program A, you don't have to offer program B. You can offer program A, but it might sound different to different people because different people think they need something. You know what they need, but they want this. They want, say, like, the first person you talk to wants to profit. Okay. The second person you talk to wants clients. The third person wants visibility. And you tell them, well, that's all of this program. That's all of what I give you. I give you that. But you don't say, if they're wanting visibility, you don't say, well, I'm going to help you get clients, because that's not where they're at, even though you know that that's tied together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. And so that's paying close attention to the language they use. Right. And then this is where your messaging for your offer comes into it, correct?
Yeah. So the offers, what I always help do is we gather some great market research, and then we create the offers from that market research using the phrases and the words that people talk about. And always, when you're doing market research, you want to listen. You want to feel the energy of the people. I like to help people feel the energy of the different people that they're interviewing, because again, there's those nuances of people that are just not the right fit and people that are a great fit. And I'll tell you that it's so much better to wait to get and work with the right client and not work with people just because they say, I want to work with you and I can pay you and you need the money. That's not, it's like, it's not a good match. It's not going to make either of you happy.
Okay. Yeah, that's where a lot of people are at, is if they're struggling to gain clients, if they're struggling to get, that type of momentum, they have in their mind, I'll work with these people now until I make the necessary income, then I'll start working with more people that are aligned. Would there be any pieces of advice you would give for someone who's in that space?
Yeah. The piece of advice is do what you have to do, of course, but with the ultimate goal of finding out, okay, this wasn't the right person because, and honing in always. That's always what we're doing, is like we're fine tuning, right? So yes, if you need money and a person comes along and you can actually help them, then do what you need to do. But I'm just saying, in general, if you're working with those kind of people, they're going to drain you, and you're not going to have the energy to do your marketing, to get out there and consistently be in front of the people who are your clients.
Awesome. And is this something, what pieces of advice would you give someone who's got their target market, they know who resonates with them, they've done some market research, they've asked these key questions, they've understood a lot about their symptoms that they're describing and where they're at, and now they're just ready to place an irresistible offer in front of them? What are some of the challenges, or some of the downfalls you see in your work of where people can get this wrong in terms of making an offer?
Yeah. Well, marketing is testing, right? So there's always a lot of testing that goes into it, and being flexible and not beating yourself up that, oh my God, this didn't work. I held this whole campaign and it didn't work. It's like, okay, ask your people. Why didn't you buy? What is it about it? Is it the price point? Is it the value? Is it what is it? And so doing surveys after you launch something that didn't go over as well as you wanted it to is really important for feedback for you. And hopefully you'll have that relationship where people will just be able to tell you. I always make my surveys anonymous so that people can tell me whatever they want, and they feel comfortable doing that. If it's something like a launch that didn't work, I made an offer, it didn't held no water, nobody wanted it. Okay, what do you want? And this is a lot of the testing. It's easier when you've got somebody on the phone, you know what they want, you can offer it to them. That's usually an easy sell. When you're doing a launch type thing, it's usually a little bit more difficult, because you've got people that are at various levels in their business or in their health or whatever you're doing. And so it's keep making the ask, keep putting yourself out there, keep fine tuning your offers so that you understand what people want, so that you can give them, because really people do want something. They're in your field of influence because they want something. It's just finding out what that thing is and how to word it. Sometimes it's just a simple little tweak.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had to mute my microphone while my puppy
starts
barking. That's super, super valuable, is just to understand when you make an offer, there is test and tweaking involved. There is asking the clients, or asking your audience, what was it that didn't resonate with you? Why wasn't it that you took that leap forward? And what could I do that would be able to make that an irresistible offer for you? What is it that you're after? What is it you're looking for? And try and find those similarities, try and find those puzzle pieces you describe as commonalities, and things that are patterns, and things that you can see within people. And then you can sort of see that you're on the right track when you can almost predict what people are going to say and what people are going to come up with. So Bram's written a question in the Q&A.
Yeah,
Yeah, go on. What are you going to say about that?
Oh, I was just going to say, because we are the face of our business, it's often easy to take it personally, and it's not personal. When people don't buy from you, it is not personal.
Yes,
it's
totally.
not. So just take that off the table.
Yeah.
take that off the table. Okay, question. I don't see any questions past.
That's okay. It's in the Q&A, so I can read it out for you if you want. So Brem
Oh, okay.
says,
Oh, I see.
would you recommend a new Facebook profile, changing one's profile to reflect your message better?
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at a Facebook, changing one's profile to reflect your message. Yeah, absolutely. Every time you're always fine-tuning and fine-tuning and fine-tuning, and so yes, changing your profiles to reflect that is super important, because if somebody's confused, they're gonna there's just something off. So if I go to your Facebook page and it says you're an investor, whatever, mortgage officer, what, I'm just picking something. And then I go to your LinkedIn profile and it says you're a like an executive coach. I'm going to go, what are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
So making sure that everything, your website, all your social profiles, everything has the same message, same title, same everything.
Awesome. And so I think another element of Brent's question could be, if you're having a business, if you're starting a business or you're growing a business, do you reflect that on your personal Facebook page as well, or do you create another account that's sort of creating something separate?
Yeah, so with Facebook, you want to have your personal profile, and in your intro, you can say something that is, maybe pique somebody's curiosity about what you do. And then you can have a link to your business page. And you have to have a business page if you want to do any kind of ads or anything like that. So it's always good to have a business page. Even if you're not really active on it, you can do tracking and stuff like that with the business page. So you always want to have a business. Same thing with like LinkedIn. If you're in business, LinkedIn might be a great opportunity for you. And the profiles there, like, you have so much real estate, so to speak, with your LinkedIn profile to really shine, make yourself shine. So I think LinkedIn, I always give people my LinkedIn profile to go look at, if they're like, who are you? Either my website or their LinkedIn profile. But the LinkedIn profile is, really succinct. So it's a great place for people to just get a snapshot of you and what you do and what results you get. And that's another thing, is really owning the value that you bring and understanding what the difference is between you and your competitors. So for me, I know I'm filling a gap, and I know some other people do clarity work and things like that, but I don't know of anybody else that actually reads energy and then is able to read the collective energy and that actually writes copy, co-creating. I don't know of anybody that does that. And so that's the difference with me, is I co-create with you. I write copy with you, with understanding your people's energy. And so that's my uniqueness. And so it's beneficial to have some unique twist on how you're different, because we all have our unique gifts, right? We're all different in some aspect. And so in your what do you do statement, it's like, this is what I do, and that might be like 100 million other people, but I'm different because XYZ.
Wow,
So people
cool.
know.
And some people might struggle with understanding, okay, what makes me different, right? I don't see anything special about me. I don't see anything that's worth more value. But I think what you'll find is, when you dive in deep in terms of asking yourself that question time and time again, even if you ask your audience time and time again, it's so powerful. I have messages. I don't even ask people. I have messages all the time, just people messaging me from the Facebook group saying, or even people who follow my content on my personal profile, and say, man, it's just refreshing to see how vulnerable you are, right? So vulnerable, so open, so honest. That's refreshing to see, because everyone knows I do a lot of internal work, and I'm open and vulnerable and honest with all the fears, doubts, and frustrations that come up for me in meditation, or whenever I'm doing an internal exercise or something like that. And so people are giving me that feedback of saying what makes me different, what makes me unique, what makes me stand out, that's different from everyone else. And that's a key uniqueness within my message and within my presence of how I show up. And so if you dive in deep in terms of yourself and ask yourself, what makes me different? Is it my energy? Is it my network? Is it my messaging or my authenticity? Or is it the ways in which I engage with people? Do I solve the problem in a different way, with a different method, with a different insight, with something that's up and coming that not many people know about yet? All those different things you can hone in and find something that makes you unique and different for sure.
Yeah, super important, because you really want to own your value and know what you bring in order for you to have that conviction when you are talking to people, when you're making your offers, when you're posting your content. You really want to know what you can do and be solid on it.
Totally. And honing in on understanding your value is so key. It's so key. This is something I'm going through time and time and time again, right? So I'm thinking of the other day I thought, okay, who is it that I resonate with? Who is it that, like you said, brings me energy and who stretches me to go further, and who I also can help immensely. And what I came up with, an answer for me at the moment, at the time of this call, six-figure like course creators, so six-figure B2B course creators who truly do love helping their clients shift through an online course. And what gave me that idea is because I've been networking with those types of people, and they just have a different level of energy and a different feel, and they love scaling and they love creating transformations. What I can bring into the space is the reasons why people don't implement, or the reasons why they don't execute on the business tactics, is because of an emotional blockage they have. It's a mental or emotional hang up, especially when they're trying to achieve that next level of success, to fill a void within themselves. So I'm thinking of reaching out to more and more online course creators and six-figure business owners who do this B2B work, and helping their clients get better results, and helping their clients create huge transformations, so they can use their internal creativity, their flow, their abundance, their joy to execute on their business strategy. I think that'll be a really good fit. And so I'm going to be executing on a lot of this stuff in the next week or so. And if anyone knows someone of that description who they want to send my way, that'd be immensely beneficial and very appreciated. Yeah. So that's what I want to share. And is there anything else you want to add in there, Lisa, on that topic?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's super needed, because online courses, self-study courses, are kind of, if they don't have gamification, if they don't have something that's going to really engage with people, then the course creator is left feeling like empty, because they don't know if the person got the transformation. They don't know if they're getting the results, or maybe the people aren't getting results. So bringing that piece in where they are able to really know that they made a difference, I think is what you're helping them do.
Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. We have a question from Kerry here as well. How do you engage on Facebook about what you do, and doing what sounds like you're not bragging or showing off? My success with my students, I want to share, and I don't want to sound too ego about it.
Well, how would you, if you were to tell your friend, how would you tell your friend? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because, I was working with this person who is, my client, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm so excited because this is the result they get. And it just really fills me up when I can help people do that. It's not braggy. It's not, you're excited.
Yeah. And I think you can sense the energy when someone's excited and being authentic compared to sharing something because they want something from you.
Right.
So
Exactly.
for example, I'm super excited about the journey I've taken with Lol, the guide dog puppy, over the last 14 months, which I have to give her back soon. And so I can be super excited about that, and I can share that from a place of authenticity, a
Yeah.
place of being genuine. I'm like, man, I'm super excited because this is what I've done. This is the transformation she's made. This is what she's going on to do next. And that's going to come from a very different place than if I was to say, okay, how do I talk about this client in a way that's going to get me something? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People feel your energy, whether you know it or not. People even feel so I've done testing on LinkedIn. Last year I had a VA agency that I was working with, and I had them putting my content out, but it wasn't connecting with people because there was that it's just a weird thing. So people, when I put my content out, and when you are writing your emails and you're putting your content and you're putting your energy into that, people feel it. I'm telling you, you can put your energy print into your words, and people feel that energy. And so it's, how are you feeling when you're making that post? How are you feeling when are you feeling like, oh my God, I'm bragging, or are you feeling, I'm so excited because blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
totally. That's where the emotional state comes into it. Whenever I write a piece of content, whether I do a video before this call, I always just sit down and do some meditation and make sure I'm in my heart, make sure I'm present, make sure I'm allowing to come up whatever needs to come up and flow. And people can feel that in my content. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of my content gets a lot of engagement, is because people can feel that it's coming from a place that's me, right? And it's authentic, and I'm not trying to be someone I'm not trying to get something from them. I'm just sharing my inspiration and whatever's going on in my life. And so people can feel that. So I'd love if people to do some sort of mental work, some sort of emotional work, some sort of ways in which you can feel vulnerable, authentic, and just whatever's going on for you at the moment, tap into your body when you do write content, because it's going to resonate at a different level, and you're going to have that different level of excitement, or a different level of eagerness, or a different level of whatever it may be, whether it be joy, happiness, love, even. I think that's super, super important. It just changes the way your brain thinks at a different level. Would you agree?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. It's like clearing your energy, taking time to clear your energy so that you're not bringing in that chaotic whatever's happened, or you're frazzled, whatever is, centering yourself and being able to pull in all of you so that you can show up authentically. I think that's beautiful.
Awesome. So what we'll do is, Lisa, if you would you be able to put a link to your Facebook profile in the chat here? Would you be able to do that? So that everyone on this call, who's on here, Bram, Callum, Joandu, Hannah, Irene, Jessica, Kerry, Michael, Pam. Awesome. All you guys, Regina, Sharon, Stephen, add Lisa to your network, build this relationship, and really connect with her. And while we have you now, Lisa, why don't you ask us, because I'm going to put a post in the group where all you guys can share your biggest takeaways, which will be awesome for myself and for Lisa to understand what your biggest takeaway was. So I look forward to seeing your comments there. But while we have you here, who can we send your way that would be an ideal client for you, or a key source of collaboration, someone you love working with, so that this awesome group here can share with you people in their network who may be able to help you as well?
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, I work with women mainly. I'm actually starting to work with some men too. So people who want to get clear on their audience, people who want to really make a big impact in the world, but they don't know how to articulate what that is, how that looks. I have a unique process where I can help you meet your dream client. And I also have another intensive that I do that's called Awaken Your Brilliance. And these are just short a couple hour sessions that really just blow things out of the water so that you're able to move forward really quickly. Um, I, I also have a new group that's called Spiritual Awakening Coaches, and it's for coaches and healers and change makers. Um, and that's a group that I'm super excited about. I have a big vision of creating a big movement. It's all really about community, right, Tyson? It's really about creating the community and having those people who feel like they belong. And I think that's so important, especially for my people who are mostly introverts and mostly feel like they're misfits. They really need a place where they feel like they belong. And so those are the things that I'm working on now. And yeah, those are the things I'm working on now.
And so if you want to be part of that community, get in touch with Lisa. That's what it's all about. It's all about getting that community, all about having that engagement, all about building that. And I'm genuinely excited when I wake up and I'm thinking of creative, resourceful ideas for this group and for the larger Facebook group of Connect, Contribute, Collaborate. I'm just genuinely excited. I'm like, what calls can I do? Who can I bring on? What posts can I do? What sort of insights can I bring? And it just gets me excited to think about how I can help this community. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are engaging. A lot of people are loving it and getting so much value. And Lisa does the exact same in terms of the value she produces and the insight she has for you guys around clarity. That's super, super important. So I've just posted in the group in terms of what your biggest takeaway was. I know Kerry's been talking, Regina and Bram asked a question, and Stephen's been sharing some things along with Jess and Jessica. I love it if you guys were just able to give us the biggest takeaway from this, because sometimes it's not what we think. Sometimes you're able to produce an insight, whether it may be around value, where it may be around different, where it may be around the types of questions or understanding the symptoms, whatever it may be. It may be something different than what everyone else is thinking, and they're like, oh yeah, that's totally true. So that will really help not only the community, but also help us as facilitators and coaches and presenters to understand what it is that would do that. So Stephen, your takeaway. Okay, cool. So if you're able to, Stephen, if you could post in the group. So I just placed a post in the group that looks like this. If you're able to comment on there and share your biggest takeaways in the comments, that'll be really cool, because then from there people can see who's on the call, people can engage with you, people can start to leverage their networks. Lisa knows who's on the call and who's engaging as well. She's more likely to reach out to you and build that relationship. I found that to be a really, really cool way of engaging with the group, and also sharing with the community who weren't able to join the call what some of the major tips were and the takeaways and things like that. I think it's a good way for the community to come together as well.
And just to answer Hannah's question real quick, she asked, is talking about your feelings as or more important than your product? So you want to talk about your feelings and your journey is what I'll say. Talk about your journey and how your journey, bring people along with you, and talk about your product not as often. I think they say 80-20. If you're doing a product launch, you're going to be talking about your product a little bit more often, but it's really not a product. It's really about how you help people, how you serve people. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, totally. I think, like you said, it depends on the energy of your clients, and the energy of your audience is super important as well.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of value from this. Lisa, you're an absolute champion. And this is your expertise. So I'm sure many people are going to jump in your Facebook group and learn what you have to offer in there. I'll see you guys in 2 days. For those who are jumping on the transformational group coaching call, like I said, it's the exact same time as this call, just in 2 days from now. That's going to be really cool. I'm working on some stuff to share with you guys. It's going to be completely mind blowing in terms of what the hell's going inside, in terms of your emotions, your fears, doubts, frustrations on this business journey. So I look forward to all that and look forward to hearing about all your breakthroughs and insights. But Lisa, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to end on? Anything else you want to give us, or any tips or tricks, or is this is this everything that you wanted to share?
Oh, I have so much I could share.
Yeah.
Well, I will just end with my quote, and that is something that I completely and totally believe in, and that is that your uniqueness is your brilliance.
Nice.
So
Your
don't try and be
uniqueness.
normal.
Yes, your uniqueness is your brilliance. If you are normal and you fit in, then you fit in with everyone else. No one gets to hear you. But if you focus on your uniqueness, like we discussed before, that's super important. So thank you so much, Lisa. This has been so cool. I'll send you a link to the recording for the Facebook as well if you wanted to grab that. And
Perfect.
thank you for everyone showing up. I'll see you in the group all. Thanks so much. Take care now,
Bye.
guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.